Tonight on Newsbeat, what does LSU's new grading system have in store for the university? Reporter Jackie Massey asked what students think.
Also, how one organization is planning to combat the potential religious freedom bill that could be proposed in Louisiana.
And reporter Derek Kopp is live at Alex Box Stadium for the number 1 and 2 matchup tonight. He gives us some insight on the history between LSU and Texas A&M. All this and more, Newsbeat starts right now. Hello, I'm Christian Bennett.
And I'm Mike Levinson. Good evening.
LSU began putting together the paperwork for declaring academic bankruptcy this week, as the legislature appears to have made little progress on finding a state budget solution. Moody's Investor Service has also announced that it is lowering LSU's credit outlook from positive to stable based on concerns of financial support. The lowering of the credit rating means the university will have to pay more for building projects in the future. F. King Alexander says the declaring a bankruptcy is necessary for LSU to survive.
Tonight, the biggest game of the season for LSU baseball. We have Derek Kopp live at Alex Box. Derek, what's the atmosphere like over there?
Well, guys, the atmosphere here at Alex Box Stadium is great as the number 1 Tigers will face the number 2 Aggies. Fans have been pouring in all day for this colossal matchup. This matchup, however, has not been duplicated since the 1989 series where the Tigers defeated the Aggies in College Station, and most fans will want the same results tonight. Jared Poche will take the mound for the Tigers and Grayson Long for the Aggies. But I will have a little bit more of a preview of this game coming up during sports, but for now, back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Derek. In other news, Equality Louisiana held 5 meetings across the state about the new religious freedom bill that may be put into place. One meeting was held here at LSU. Amanda Luskin has more.
Equality Louisiana held a meeting Wednesday to discuss House Bill 707, the Marriage and Conscience Act. The bill is supposed to protect the religious beliefs of businesses, but is causing controversy because it can also allow businesses to deny customers if they don't agree with their lifestyle choices.
I mean, we just want to help people understand what HB 707 does.
707 is bad for everyone, and so the more people we get engaged in the democratic process, the more people we can educate about what bad things this bill does, the better.
The Marriage and Conscience Act is a bill that discriminates against LGBT people and our supporters.
House Representative Mike Johnson brought up the bill. Governor Bobby Jindal is backing him, but Equality Louisiana think they can put up a fight.
We're here today to inform people exactly what that bill does, exactly how it affects people's lives, and how it hurts the people of Louisiana and it hurts business.
We have a list of businesses that we will be sort of rolling out who've come out in opposition, along with over 50 faith leaders.
We're tired of seeing our state move backwards.
Amanda Luskin, Tiger TV News.
You can find out more information at notmylouisiana.org. And Bobby Jindal has reaffirmed his stance on the same-sex marriage in an editorial he wrote to the New York Times this week. He urged corporations opposing him to, quote, save your breath, unquote. Jindal clarifies that the 2010 Religious Freedom Restoration Act was for and plans to advocate strongly for the Marriage and Conscience Act this legislative session. The Marriage and Conscience Act seeks to bar the state from refusing to work with businesses or people because they oppose same-sex marriage. The act would also protect tax statutes of groups that only support marriage between a man and a woman.
Well, LSU just announced their plan to implement the plus-minus grading system this fall. So what exactly can we expect? Reporter Jackie Massey has the story.
Next semester, LSU Tigers will start the school year with a new plus or minus grading scale, despite student government's disagreement with the Faculty Senate's legislation.
When it comes down to it, I mean, we're here, it's happening. We're not going to try to stay away from, we're not going to try to hide that fact, but moving forward, it's all about communication.
But the grading scale isn't set by the university. It's in the hands of the teachers. They decide the difference between an A and an A minus.
To be sort of, in a way, punished for, just barely cutting the surface, that's going to kind of work against us.
This means the same class could have a completely different grading scale, depending on the teacher. But Associate Vice President for Academic Planning, Gilmore Reeves, says he thinks teachers will keep the grading scale consistent for beginning freshman classes that have multiple sections.
If there's 100 sections of freshman English, that the grading scales are similar or consistent across those so that it doesn't matter which section you get in.
But these grades freely given out to students won't be free of cost. This process will cost the university about $20,000.
And that's one-time money. And that's $20,000 that we were going to spend them doing something. So it becomes what's the priority as opposed to where are we going to get $20,000.
Reeves says this process will help students who work hard for their grades.
I've felt this too. I have one student that squeaks out and gets a C, and another one that's pushing at the top of the C, and yet they both are in a C grade. I'm not distinguishing the difference in performance.
For Tiger TV, I'm Jackie Massey.
Well, what do you think about the new grading system? Take our poll at tigertv.tv and tweet us at LSUTigerTV and use the hashtag LSUGrades. And in other news, the LSU Student Health Center put on its annual spring blood drive this week. 2 buses were available on Tower Drive near Free Speech Plaza, where students and faculty donated their blood. Recruiters stood outside the buses in an attempt to coax hesitant donors. Every day, each bus received 50 to 60 courageous or fearful participants. The staff asked prospective donors a short series of questions to check their eligibility before they could donate. Once they were cleared, donors sat down and prepared to give blood. One recruiter says giving blood could save the lives of many in just under 30 minutes.
It's important to give blood because when every donor donates blood, they save up to 3 people's lives. But donating blood is not something we can manufacture. It's not somewhere we can get, from animals. It has to come directly from a human donor to go to a human donor.
Coming up next, we hear from the new men's SEC golf champions and how they plan to go even further.
And what McDonald's is doing to help spike their income levels. Stay tuned.
Welcome back. The number 7 ranked LSU men's golf team won its first SEC championship since 1987. The Tigers took home the title Sunday at St. Simon's Island, Georgia. The team of seniors Stuart Jolly, Ben Taylor, and junior Zach Wright, along with sophomores Brandon Pierce and Eric Richard, earned their place in history as SEC champion golfers for the first time in over 20 years. The team says that winning the SEC championship was great, but their next goal is success at regionals.
Since being at LSU, I've understood how important a conference is like the SEC, and it's a very, very big deal, which is what drives us to work so hard every day. So to win it now, when we've got the rings coming and we've got, big expectation going into the rest of the postseason is very exciting. And
our guys will be fine. We've got to get through finals. We've got to get our rest back and then just build up again and get ready to play for regionals.
Now the Tigers await their 8th straight NCAA regional selection as the field for the 2015 men's golf regionals will be announced May 4th.
And McDonald's is in trouble again. The fast food giant plans to close 900 of its restaurants worldwide this year. The restaurant reported a $400 million profit loss for the first 3 months of the year. The Golden Arches have struggled for some time with dwindling consumers, causing sales to drop lower than usual. However, they are not giving up. McDonald's recently announced a pay hike for workers and a potential all-day breakfast menu. Well, I will definitely be taking advantage of that breakfast menu.
I've been asking for a long time as I physically could eat McDonald's. Let's just hope that one time on campus we can get that before it closes.
True.
Well, the Brothers of Theta Chi took a dip in front of the LSU Student Union Wednesday. For $1, students could try their luck at sinking a member of the fraternity in a dunk booth in Free Speech Plaza. This was the second fundraiser on their campaign to raise money for the fraternity's philanthropy, the United Service Organization. Money donated to the USO is used to support troops on active service anywhere around the world.
We had a bunch of people come by. We actually had Les Miles come by, and he dunked one of our brothers. That was pretty cool. We didn't have a football, unfortunately.
Coming up after the break, how a terrorist gave himself up before a planned attack.
Also, why Kim Jong-un will pay a visit to Russia soon. Stay tuned. Sarah Lofdell has the World Report next.
Hey Tigers, I'm Sarah Lofdell with your World News Update. A suspected Islamic terrorist caught himself in a bind when he accidentally shot himself while planning an attack on French churches. After he called an ambulance, authorities followed a blood trail that led to the discovery of loaded guns, bulletproof vests, and notes about the intended targets. The suspect has yet to be named but is an Algerian native who was flagged as a risk by security officials last year. After 42 years, Chile's Calbuco volcano erupted, causing a few thousand people to evacuate. The National Mining and Geology Service has issued a high alert barring access to the mountainous area around the volcano in southern Chile. This volcano is considered one of the most dangerous among Chile's active volcanoes. And it's finally official. Russia is expecting the North Korean leader to visit Moscow next month for World War II anniversary celebrations. Kim Jong-un will be in Russia for the May 9th victory celebrations and will meet with Russian President Vladimir Putin. This will be Kim's first official foreign trip since inheriting leadership in late 2011. Japan is concerned for potential terrorism involving drones after one was found on the rooftop of the Prime Minister's house. The drone carried traces of radioactive material. The discovery came on the same day a Japanese court approved a government plan to restart 2 reactors at the Sendai nuclear plant. The push to restart the reactors is unpopular among many Japanese who view nuclear energy as being just too dangerous. The Chinese city that boasts the largest number of dinosaur eggs has added a new batch to its collection. Construction workers unearthed 43 fossilized dinosaur eggs during road repair work in a southern Chinese province. 19 of the eggs are completely intact, with the largest measuring 5 inches wide. The species of dinosaur but has not yet been determined. Well, that's all the time I have for today. Join me next week for another Worldly Update. Back to y'all at the desk.
Thanks, Sarah. Coming up after the break, we go back to Derek Kopp live at Alex Box as the team prepares to face off with Texas A&M.
And a former LSU golfer talks more about the upcoming regional tournament. Cody Krupp is here with sports, so stay tuned.
Yeah, I'd just like to thank all y'all. I'd like to further my education and my basketball career with Louisiana State University.
The books, and it doesn't get much better than this. Number 1 versus number 2, a battle between the number 1 as the Aggies will be in town looking to take the top spot in the nation from the Tigers as well as the SEC. We send it out to Derek Kopp, who is out there with just the opening pitch. Away.
Well, you said it, Cody. Number 1 LSU against number 2 Texas A&M, and it is a beautiful day. Fans have been pouring in all day for what could be the biggest SEC matchup of the year. Now, coming into today's game, you'll have Jared Poche on the mound for the Tigers, a 7-1 record and a 2.9 ERA, going against Grayson Long of the Aggies with an 8-0 record and a 2.73 ERA. Now the Aggies use power, 47 home runs, 4th in the nation, but an ERA of just 2.4, while the Tigers hit for average with a .32. So expect this game to be a shootout. Now, looking at Coach Paul Maneri and shortstop Alex Bregman before the game, said that yes, this is a big game, but they're going to treat it just like any other.
We approach it all the same, and because of that, I think our players have a tendency to play very well in the biggest games or the bigger games that you and the media or fans or whatever might indicate to be the bigger games. Our players don't have to try any harder because they try as hard as they can every day, whether it be practice, like I said, or non-conference games. So I think there's a natural inclination to have a little bit more adrenaline rush, bigger crowd, more at stake. But what I keep preaching to our players is they don't have to try any harder, that they're going to play in bigger games than this as the year progresses.
I'd actually say this is a rivalry game. They're very good. We've had competitive games against them every time we've played them. And they're a very good team, so it's gonna be treated kind of like a rivalry game.
Guys, it is sure to be an exciting one. You can catch the game at 6:30 on ESPN2, but stay with Tiger TV Sports Twitter for updates throughout the game. For now, back to you guys at the desk, Cody.
Yeah, thanks, Derek. Oftentimes in the NBA, a number 1 versus number 8 seed leaves little excitement on the court. A snooze fest, sort of say. But not between the Pelicans and the Warriors. A slugfest through 2 games, and although the Pels are down 2-0 heading into tonight's matchup, it's not without effort, especially for the superstar.
I want to come out the game. I want to be on the floor as much as possible. Give my team a chance to win. And we talked about it. Trying to figure something out where I can get a minute or 2 here and there. But for the majority of the game, I want to be on the floor.
I'm going to try to get him out, get him a quick blow, and then get him back in. He wants to play the whole game. It's like a fight. He and I are like, I can't even write up my timeout play because he's worried about it. I'm going to take him out of the game. So he just wants to be out there, and you love that. I don't want guys on our team that don't want to play. But you're right. There are opportunities to get him a quick blow and get him back in the game.
Ben Simmons, Brandon Sampson, and now Antonio Blakeney. The last of which to sign on to wear the purple and gold next season for Johnny Jones' LSU Tigers, and another piece to what is expected to be the highest-ranked recruiting class in school history, and possibly on top of the nation. Blakeney is a 6'4", 177-pound guard who averaged 29 points, 7 rebounds, and just under 3 assists, as he led his nationally prominent Oak Ridge squad to a 22-7 record and a trip to the regional finals. The Florida Class 8A Player of the Year was voted Mr. Basketball by his home state and was a standout in the All-American game as well as the Jordan Brand Classic in Brooklyn, and his addition could be the final piece needed to make LSU a national contender come November. A jam-packed weekend for Louisiana sports caps off with a Zurich Classic taking place this weekend down the I-10 in New Orleans for the TPC, but a warm-up round took place at University Club, home of the 2015 SEC Golf Champs. Former LSU standouts like John Peterson and Andrew Lupe grouped up with some local amateurs to get a few swings in before today's first round, and both completed in last year's Classic, resulting in mixed scores. Lupe finished 2 under while Peterson missed the cut, but he says he's ready to improve this time around, and warming up at a familiar course may do the trick. That is all the time we have today for sports, but more Newsbeat is coming your way after the break.
Hey Tigers, it was predicted to rain all day today, but if you were on campus earlier this afternoon, I'm sure you were pretty happy to see the sun out instead. It only rained for about 20 minutes before the sun came out again. And you may not see any rain tonight either because there's only going to be a 20% chance of rain, but it is going to get a little cooler. For tomorrow, temperature will rise back up to 84 degrees, and there's going to be a 50% chance of rain. There may be some scattered thunderstorms throughout the morning, but as the day goes on, rain should clear up just in time for you to celebrate for the weekend. But that celebration won't last too long because it's looking like it's going to storm this Saturday. We're still going to have temperatures in the 80s, but there's also going to be an 80% chance of rain for that day. And now moving on to our 7-day forecast, you can see that we have some more rainy days ahead of us, and there's going to be an 80% chance that it's going to rain at some point during the day tomorrow through Tuesday. Your best shot at escaping the rain this week will be Sunday, which is also going to be the hottest day this week with highs in the 90s. Look at it this way. At least most of us will be inside studying this week while the rain takes over. And aside from all the spring showers, at least it's finally starting to feel like summer here in Baton Rouge. Even though temperature may drop to the 70s for a few days, humidity will still be over 50%, so those days will still have that familiar Louisiana stickiness in the air. Well, that's all the weather that I have for you today. I'll see you back here next week. Thanks for watching. Now back to you at the desk.
Thanks, Kristen. More Newsbeat when we come back.
Well, Tigers, that's all the time we have for today's show, but you can stay updated with us on tigertv.tv or on our YouTube channel.
From all of us here at Tiger TV, good night and stay tuned for the Funyun season finale next.